You know, when we look at the history of Indigenous and non-Indigenous relationship in Canada, a historic moment was in 2008 when former Prime Minister Stephen Harper did a formal apology for the residential school abuse that happened. What did that mean to you personally, or did it mean anything to you?
Well, it meant things to me because a friend of mine who'd been in residential school phoned me and told me that he was watching it. And it made him cry. And then he wrote a song about it. And I remember that. It was just soon after that he called me. And a lot of my friends talked about. And I think another friend of mine said what it did was that it was an affirmation that they were right. So you could finally say that the Canadian government, the church was wrong. Indigenous people were right.
Yeah, and my wounds have validity almost.
Right, and then people used it to begin to heal. Whether or not Stephen Harper was sincere or not, I can't judge that. But people, Indigenous people, used it to begin to heal and to begin to work on healing their own wounds and heart.
It's Canada's 150th anniversary this year. As we reflect on that, and obviously, you know, First Peoples were here long before Canada was created, but what does Canada mean to you when you think of this history?
1972. Esposito shoots. Henderson rebound, he scores.
So basically hockey, you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. Canada, we made our treaties with the Crown, and we promised that we would live together like family. So Canada's my family, like regardless of all the crazy things they do.
Some of us are your crazy aunt and uncle, aren't we?
Right, we're supposed to live like family in a good way. That's what the sweetgrass braid means. One of the strands represents the first peoples, one strand represents the newcomers, and one represents the Creator, and we promised to live in this land like family. And the Creator would hold us to it. And I think about that. And there were newcomers who came. My wife is a second generation immigrant from Scotland and Ireland, and I married her, and so that's my children have relatives there. And so, like some Indigenous folks say, all my relatives, Canada's my family.
When you think about how Canada does view Indigenous people, what is something that we don't know that we need to know?
Canada's always been welcoming because Indigenous people are welcoming, because they've always understood that the Creator is the one who owns the land. He made it, He put us here. We belong to the land, and I think the cool thing about Indigenous people is that they're open to other people belonging to the land too. That it's not something they just want to hoard, that they want people who come here to learn to love the land, that it becomes part of the family. And then that would help us to make decisions that we have to make, hard decisions sometimes, about how to live, how to be neighbors. So
there's a lot of debate over the years about Native spirituality and Christianity. Is it the same thing? Is it the same God? Is it? Do you embrace all traditions as you embrace Christianity? What are your thoughts on that? Where do you land on it?
I think that Indigenous everybody has spirituality, a friend of mine said. I agree with him. Indigenous spirituality in Saskatchewan here, when they say culture, they mean spirituality. It's just about honoring all the connections in one's life, and that you're trying to live in a way that honors all those relationships and seeks harmony and to build on harmony and good relationships. I think if that's the motivation driving something, then that's good. But if the motivation driving is just to amass power and wealth or to dominate someone else, then it doesn't matter what kind of spirituality is, it's not good. So that's how I try to think about those things. And because I'm a follower of Christ, I just think if it affirms that there is just one God, if it affirms that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, if it tries to see how all of life can somehow be seen within the context of the gospel story, then I'm okay with it.
And when you pray for this country and the peoples that are on it, what is your prayer? What's the prayer of your heart?
My prayer has always been that my prayer has been that I would just be able to receive the love of the Creator through His Son, Jesus, and that I would have the wisdom to love other people the same way, so that I would have more love, so that I could be more loving.
Ray, I have absolutely loved speaking to you. You have so many beautiful thoughts and important things to say. Thanks so much for your time.
Oh, I thank you for the opportunity to share some of my thoughts.